Hi book lovers, it's Jenny at Julia Baby Jen, and this is my January TBR. Okay, new year, yay! I don't know if everybody watched my December video, TBR video, but I had a huge stack of books that I was going to read in December and January. And that stack has barely made a dent in it, although I feel like I read a lot off of it. I did read some, but I still have I think I still have like 20 books on it. So I'm not going to put it all back on my January TBR because I kind of want to move on. I had plans to start the year off with, and so I'm going to stick with those. I did pull a few books off of there and threw in my TBR, mainly because in January there's 2 readathons going on that I'm participating in. They happen the same week. The Battle Books and a Yearathon. And the Yearathon theme this month is Catch Up TBR. So I picked 3 books off of that, and we'll go from there. And if I get through all these, I'll pull some more off of that, but I'm just gonna keep those books out there. I do really want to read them, and maybe I'll get a little more caught up throughout the year. Oh, I really want to start off the year a little better than that, but it's okay. We're moving on. So the 3 that I pulled off of that stack are The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness. This is a contemporary story about sidekicks and their place in the world, and it looks really fun. Although I have heard mixed reviews, I'm still going to attempt it. I bought it when it came out, and I want to read it. It's Patrick Ness, so I still got to read it. Gates of Thread and Stone by Lori M. Lee. I don't know anything about this other than it's a fantasy. I won it in a giveaway, and it's amazing cover, and I'm excited to read it. So yeah, that's all I need to know. Fantasy, that's all I really need to know. And Beauty Queens by Libba Bray. All I know about this is a plane full of like beauty pageant girls that crash, and they end up on this deserted island, and they're trying to survive. And that's really all I know. I've heard it's really funny and really a great read. So yeah, I'm excited. And I do love the cover to this. I think that's just really clever with the lipstick. And then that's what the back looks like. It's just kind of a cool cover. I actually picked this up at a Goodwill one time, and I had been on my TBR before that, and I'm like, oh, perfect, a Libba Bray book. So yes, this is on the TBR for January. I think it'll be a fun read to read kind of about a deserted island in January, because that's where I wish I was. Not here in Iowa. Then, the rest of my month, I am doing Cassandra Clare in January. I'm going back to picking an author a month and focusing on their books. Didn't work really great for me last year, but I did read a lot of each author that I picked. I just didn't read all the books on the TBR, but hey, at least I got a little more caught up, and it was fun to read a bunch of their works at once. And I'm in a Cassandra Clare mood. I am ready to read some Cassandra Clare. So, I'm pretty well caught up on Cassandra Clare. There's just a few reads I haven't done, but to refresh myself, I'm going to be doing some rereads. I did reread The Clockwork Angel not long ago. I love The Infernal Devices. They're by far my favorite Cassandra Clare books. Clockwork Princess is the most beautiful book. I love that book so much. So I wanted to reread them anyway, but I really wanted to get ready for Lady Midnight, and I've heard that there's a lot similarities, a lot of similar characters and things, so I just kind of wanted a refresher. So I'd already reread Clockwork Angel not long ago. So I'm going to continue with Clockwork Prince and then Clockwork Princess. I got the new editions of this set, and I love these covers. They're so gorgeous. So that'll be fun, and I love like the spines. They look so cool together. So neat. I have Clockwork Angel back there somewhere, I think. And then I'm going to reread City of Heavenly Fire, which is the 6th and final book in the Mortal Instruments series. I am not rereading the whole series. Number one, I just not really in the mood to reread the whole thing. And I've reread the first 4 books quite a few times. I think I've only read the 5th book maybe twice, but I've only read this book once. And there's a lot in here that kind of prepares you for Lady Midnight as well, with characters and things. And I would really like a little refresher on how it ended. I remember loving it, and I remember some things, but yeah, I just kind of wanted a refresher. So this is such a big book, but it's so good. So I'm going to reread City of Heavenly Fire. This is my plan. Then I can read a new Cassandra Clare book, Tales from the Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy. And this is a bunch of novellas or short stories focusing around Simon, who is my favorite character in the Mortal Instruments and the reason I kept reading all the way through. I'm not a big Jace and Clary fan. Jace is okay. Clary annoyed the crap out of me. I just, their romance, you know, I kind of understood in the beginning and then it just kind of, I don't know. They just were annoying to me. But I loved all the other characters in the books. I think the side characters in the books and the Mortal Instruments are really awesome. But especially Simon. He's my favorite. And I'm really excited to read his story. This is a continuation on after the Mortal Instruments has ended. And these were released one at a time for a while, but I haven't read any of them. I waited until I had the bind up and could read them all at once. So yes, I'm very excited to read this. And then I can finally read Lady Midnight, which is the new series. I have been told that by friends of mine that it is good to reread Infernal Devices, City of Heavenly Fire, and then read Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy before going into this book, because there's a lot of background stuff that's going to help with this, apparently. So I'm excited to start the new series with new characters mostly, so that'll be fun. And then the second book I think does come out in March, so it'll be good to have read this, and it's not too far off till the next one, so that when that one comes I can read it and not feel like I forgot stuff. You know, it will be pretty soon after that. So that's my Cassandra Clare goal. I've got 5 books, and they're all 5 big books to read by her in January, so that will take a big focus of my reading time. The other book I threw on there was Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I really want to read this. I wanted to read it in December and didn't get to it, and I really want to read this. So this is pretty high up on my list. So I might start the year with this one, actually, for the readathon especially. So my beautiful Owl Crate cover that I just adore. So yes, I'm excited for that. Then I have some library books. These 2 are also on my readathon TBR. The Forgetting by Sharon Cameron. This is about a futuristic dystopian society type thing where everybody forgets everything, like every couple years or something, and they have to keep a record of stuff so people remember things. And I don't know why. I'm sure that's a mystery in the book. But the main character, the girl in here, she does remember everything. So it's kind of her story, and it sounds really fascinating. And a friend of mine, Jen, loved this book, so I'm excited to read this. Then I have The Sun Is Also a Star, which I've heard amazing things about, by Nicola Yoon. It's a contemporary. That's really all I know, and it's amazing. And that's okay. That's all I really need to know going into it. I haven't read everything yet, although I do own it. But I heard that one's amazing too. So I'm going to go ahead and conquer this baby in January for the readathon, hopefully. And then I have The Reader. I'd actually put this on hold at the library a really long time ago for a debut reading challenge. It was actually a year-a-thon, I think, reading challenge. And it didn't come in time. And so it finally came in a few weeks ago, and I haven't read it yet. And I'm really excited to. I've heard it's really amazing. So yes, hopefully I get to this one in January. And then these just look like fun reads. I need some adult books for my challenges, and this is just a romance series called The Calendar Girl. And about this girl who's making money as an escort, but sex isn't necessarily involved if she doesn't want it to be. I don't know a lot about it, but I think obviously there is sex involved in these. But there's a book for each month, so it's a 12-book set. And they did do bind-ups of them, and then my library has them. So this is volume 1, and it has January, February, and March stories in it. So I don't know if I'm going to read the whole thing, but I definitely will read January for January. And then I'll probably end up renewing it and read February, and March. Hopefully it'll work that way, is what I'm planning on for this one. So that's all my library books. That's all the books I picked off of my shelves. Now it's time to pull out of my book jar TBR thing. And I'm so excited for this part because this is a new challenge I'm doing this year. And yes, I'm very excited for this part. Okay, so this is my TBR book jar. It's actually a can. It's an altered can that a friend made me for an art swap, and I really love it. And I thought, well, hey, I don't have really a lot of time to make a cool jar. And I really like this, and I love the compass on it. So So yeah, I have 41 slips of paper in here. I have a specific shelf, not one of these. These are books I've all read. But I have across the room, I have a specific shelf that has books that I want to read this year that have been on my shelves, for most of them for a really long time. Some of them are newer, but I want to read them this year at some point. So I thought I would throw them all in here. I'm going to pick 3 a month to read. That will be 36 throughout the year if I actually do that, which leaves like 4 books left over, and hopefully I can just pick those up at some point throughout the year. If I want a different book, I might grab one off the shelf. So here we go. I'm so excited to do this. Can't wait to. This is such a fun little game. I didn't know I was going to get so excited for this. Okay, the first one I have is Station 11. Yay! Oh, awesome. All right, I'm very excited that that's one of them. That is a newer one that I bought recently, but I'm excited for that one. Some of these in here are series, so if I pick like the second or third book that I haven't read the first yet, I'll just pick the first book in the series and start with that. Is kind of what I figured, even though, because I have a lot of series on there that I haven't read all the books yet. So if I pull one of the later books, I have The Edge of Nowhere. That is a trilogy. I have the whole trilogy. Well, actually, there's 4 in the series, but I only own the first 3. So I do have those on, all 3 of them on my shelf. So I'll have to look and see if this is the first one. If not, I'll grab the first one in the series. Alright. Dig toward the bottom here. And the last one is Awake at Dawn by C.C. Hunter. And that is the second book, I believe, and I've read the first one, so I think we'll be okay with that. Okay, so I have Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, and I've heard this is an amazing story. This is a futuristic dystopian world. It has something to do with a theater group that travels. It looks really good, and I've heard really great things about this. So I found it at Book Outlet, and yeah, I'm glad that it picked this one for me for January. I'm excited. And then I have The Edge of Nowhere by Elizabeth George, and that is the first book in the series, so I got lucky there. So yay. I'm excited to read this. I don't really know a lot about this series, which when I don't know a lot about a series, I generally don't tend to find out a lot, unless I'm debating on buying it maybe. But this series I actually won in a giveaway, so I'm going to read it whatever. All I know is that I got a whole bunch of books. I think it was from Epic Reads that I won, and it was like 12 books, and they were all like suspense mysteries. So that's the only thing I really know about this series. So yeah, sounds good. There's 4 books in the series, and this is the first one. I have the first 3. And then Awake at Dawn by C.C. Hunter. This is actually a signed book. I met her a couple years ago in Nashville at Utopia, and this is the second book in the series, and I read the first, so I'm ready for the second book. I read the first really long time ago. Hopefully I remember everything about this series. It's supposed to be a really good series. It's kind of an older one that's been out a while, but I have the whole thing now. I think I picked all the books up at like BAM for bargain prices and stuff. So yay. It's a paranormal, a whole bunch of supernatural creatures are in this, so it's paranormal, fun YA. That's all I need to know. Born at Midnight was pretty good. Alright, that's my January TBR. The only thing I did not do on here was pick out some Kindle books. That is one of my goals this year, is to read Kindle books I've already owned. I think 25 for the year. But I think on that one I'm going to be more spontaneous and just kind of decide what I'm in the mood for. But I have 16 books here on my TBR right now. If I know more don't get added into that. We'll see how I do on that. Alright, well leave me a link below what you're reading in January. I'd love to know. I hope everyone has a good day. I will talk to you later. Bye.